my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P. A lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious, I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
We ain't beefing. I don't want no smoke. It ain't no secret, they know all of us are gone. And our people need us. We can't let them fight this battle alone. We done lost some folks and we can't lose no more. So I'ma be breaking bread, making plans, building with my brothers. Breaking bread, making plans, building with my brothers. Breaking bread, making plans, building with my brothers. Breaking bread, making plans, breaking bread, making plans.
You've been lied to. You've been told that the enemy stands beside you. Your neighbor is your rival. That's what they use to divide you. But I ain't beefing with nobody that got the same problems I do. Don't always work, but I try to. I can be prideful when I often lose my cool, but I choose to commit to being better so we can eat together. Cause compared to black lives, our beef don't really matter. The day of us fighting each other is over. Wish they love my folks like they loving my culture. But we ain't even pressed, I ain't even gon' hold ya. We don't need your stamp, we co-signing our own stuff. Don't need permission, you dealing with grown-ups. And our ancestors, they told us you owe us. So we here to collect, make the check out the black crowd and no one.
You ain't beefing. I don't want no smoke. It ain't no secret, they know all of us are gone. And our people need us. We can't let them fight this battle alone. We done lost some folks and we can't lose no more. So I'ma be breaking bread, making plans, building with my brothers. Breaking bread, making plans, building with my brothers. Breaking bread, making plans, building with my brothers. Breaking bread, making plans, breaking bread, making plans.
Just got a call from my dog, he was limping. He said that he saw what he saw, but wish he didn't. I told him that we all was appalled at what we witnessed. He said that the law be going hard. I said they...
What up, what up, what up, what up? One more. Good to see y'all, man. Good to see y'all. Welcome back to it, man. Let's go live. We're Lamont King. I'm Lamont King, and we are now live, man, broadcasting from Tiny Closet Studios, nerve center of all Tiny Closet operations. It's a situation, man. Welcome back. We made it, man. We almost there to the end of the week, to the end of the month, to the end of the year. It's almost happening fast, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it. Good to see y'all. Shout out to everybody. Tag thumbs up on the check-in. Thumbs up on the check-in. Let me know where you're viewing from. Shout out to everybody in the Human Mail app, coast to coast, country to country. Big up. Let me get some water. Hold up. 97 degrees outside. 108 in the car. Car just be sitting there waiting for you. Like an oven, just waiting. Like, yeah. I walked to my car was like, yeah. Wait till you get in this bad boy, you baked potato looking ass. But yeah, shout out to everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube. Good to see you, man. Appreciate you. This program goes down every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. to 7, live. And people ask, what you watching? If you see something, share something, man. That's all we ask. If you see something, if you like it, let somebody else know. Hit the share button right now because this is a live show. It sounds like a podcast, but it's really a broadcast. Figure that out on your own time. But we do it. So trending topics, celebrity interviews, interesting people, and hilarious commentary. That's what's in the tagline, man. I'm putting the promo kit together. So I've been working on that all day. So those are the 4 elements of the show. Say it with me. Trending topics, celebrity interviews, interesting people, and hilarious commentary. All right? That's it. That's what the show is. You can't deal with that, then we don't need you. All right, so it is 100% viewer supported, like by viewers like you. So we got the Cash App situation going. Lamont King 06 $. Don't forget it. Patreon. I'm building the Patreon. It's a wonderful scenario over there. Building community everywhere we go. Patreon.com, Mr. Lamont King. Become a subscriber. And of course, download the Human Mill app. They are streaming the show live in app. I think I said that already, but either way. And we are presented by, in part by our longtime sponsor, drunkenfruit.com. They're in the building too. Black owned and operated. Fun. It's a fun thing. You're like, well, what is it? It's fun. Go see. And you'll be like, oh, that's fun. And then you'll order it and it'll come in the mail. And you'll be like, oh, this is fun. And then you'll eat it. And after you finish a bottle, you'll be like, this is fun. This is fun. So shout out to them. All right, good to see y'all, man. A lot going on in the headlines, but I ain't gonna waste your time. We're gonna get right to it. Some days, we got nobody, and the other days we got everybody. And there were some things that we were talking about earlier this week that's been a subject of conversation for quite some time, man. And let me give you a little backstory. I want to get into some of your constitutional rights. That's what I want to talk about today briefly, and in particular, that second one, the one that Black people, for some strange reason, and we had some reasons come out yesterday, we tend to either overlook or forget about, that it applies to us as well. And that 2A, we have an interesting history in this country with guns and firearms. I have my opinion. I'm still doing research, still trying to, have an understanding that I can convey to people that pay attention to me in a way that's digestible and palatable, if you will. But in my research, I find myself in circles of people that are strong proponents of the Second Amendment and that can speak on it way better than I can. And I like to throw some of these people in the classification of preppers, because there's an amount of prep that goes with being what's called a 2A'er, especially in these times. It's quarantine times, man. It's you might have seen the shows Doomsday Preppers. This ain't that. This are people who are just trying to be as sharp and exercising their citizenship, and they happen to be a fan of home defense, sport shooting, and firearms. Straight like that. And they're Black. And you would be amazed. So, without further ado, I want to bring to the show my guy out in the Midwest, the big homie, good friend of mine. He's a 2A'er. He's a burgeoning collector, if you will. Getting to the level of past aficionado. He's getting close to expert. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, my man, Joseph Harris. What's good with you?
What's up, brother?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. Good. Just want to make sure we.
No, I wouldn't call myself an expert, bro. I'm just a concerned brother trying to make sure my family's safe. I'm working my way there, though.
Yeah, and that's why I said from aficionado to expert, because in my eyes, I'm just watching and learning.
Right.
Watching and learning. So all right, let's go live.
Okay.
Joe Harris out in the Midwest. I ain't gonna say where you at. I ain't going. You just in the Midwest. You born and raised. Yeah. You say what? A red state?
On red state, bro. So I'm all town red.
Yeah. You're a hot zone. You're in a hot zone, actually. What got you? I'm gonna get right to it. What got you into guns?
So what originally got me into guns was Katrina, and Katrina is what first got me interested. Because
wait a minute, stop, hold, stand by. I looked at the chat. I didn't realize what was going on. They said you upside down, fam. You on the phone or the computer? Yeah, your visuals. You on the phone or the computer? Oh man, what's your G's like? You got 5 G's? What's your bandwidth? Let's try it again. See, as soon as we talk about that realness, this is what happens. I do this. Jump out and jump back in. So I'm gonna close you out. Come back in. Yeah, this is what happens. This is what happens, y'all. They don't want us to talk about it. As soon as we get real. And I got the hardwire and everything. Remember, we went through this yesterday. I'm hardwired in. And it's still the foolishness. All right, he's gonna come back in. We're gonna see what it is. Make sure everybody in the crib is not on Wi-Fi. Y'all got to get off that Wi-Fi. All right, here we go. Stand by, y'all. So let me pull up. I want to show his collection. I gotta get his permission though. I seen Zuck wild for that. He's Zuck a wild boy. He know what time it is. Zuck and Jada, really. So hopefully he'll jump back in. But no, I wanted to get his permission to show his collection, because this is what kind of started the convo when I seen his collection today. And I was like, man, I got to have you on to talk about this from that perspective, because I'm nowhere near that. And my vantage point, it wouldn't necessarily be credible, as far as calibers and what you should and you shouldn't do, what you should have and shouldn't have. And we just a lot of people are really not comfortable talking about this type of stuff, but I want to throw it out there in a light way that we can digest and not be afraid of it. So hopefully he'll come back on and see what it is. Let me tell him to come back in. And then we'll just go to headlines, and then we got a couple other guests lined up to jump in on the show. And we're going to keep it moving, man. I want to talk about Attorney General Barr's hearing. John Lewis lying in state in the heat, which I really don't approve of. I had people trying to explain to me the reasoning for that. I didn't like that. I didn't like why they got him outside. It's too hot for that. I understand the whole COVID restrictions on the Capitol, but or the Supreme Court, wherever it is. But I'm not for it. He fought for to end segregation, and y'all still got him outside on the porch. Nah, man, they could do the rotunda. I know he was in there the first day, but they could do the rotunda and then have everybody go in 6 feet apart. Come on, man, it's too hot for that. Not good. All right, let's try it again. All right, let's see. Hey, thumbs up in the chat if y'all can see him, because I can see him. I can see you and hear you. So I'm gonna wait for the chat.
I switched over to my wife's Apple, so I should be good.
Oh, well, look at that. Totally different. I think that's what it was. All right, they say, let me see. Thumbs up if you can see my man Joe. Thumbs up, and then we'll proceed. All right, thumbs up. There it is. That's what I needed. All right, welcome back.
Thank you, bro. No, but you had asked me what got me into guns, and I said my first thing that got guns on my radar was Hurricane Katrina. Because I had seen now if you haven't seen When the Levees Break, Spike Lee's Henry, everyone needs to go see that. But one of the things that happened was, like, when black folk were trying to like escape Katrina, they were getting like held up at the border of these like small cities, and people were pointing guns at them like, no, you guys have to stay in New Orleans. You can't come into our town. And like people were like shooting at them. You know what I'm saying? There were documented cases of brothers being shot and sisters being shot and gunned down in the street. And I was like, nah, man, like if something happens, if an emergency happens, you can't rely on someone else's goodwill. And at the end of the day, I got a family, and like your first job to me as a man is to protect your family, right? That's right. At the bottom of everything, what you do. Like the reason we work and have jobs is, like I want to be able to make sure my kids are taken care of. The lights got to stay on, I work. You know what I mean? We got to get fed, I work. And so, like, to me, part of that is making sure that my children are safe. Right. And that's the same thing sort of got me into like mild prepping, was looking at Hurricane Katrina. And I said to myself, I actually had some friends and family like, oh, what you got this stuff for? And I started with like just like a little bag of like food and water and stuff. And I was like, man, you think the people down there would have wanted 2 or 3 days worth of food and water? And they were like, oh yeah. And so that's what first got like guns and prepping on my radar. And it was really low, but that's what started it. The idea that you really can't rely on, especially if you're in the wrong jurisdiction and there's not a lot of you around, you can't and would be foolish to rely on the local government to support and protect you, especially if you're a black or brown person in America today.
Right.
So that's what originally got it on my radar.
So was it coincidental that you lived somewhere where you could build pretty much an arsenal?
Well,
did that
helpful.
factor in? Did that factor in?
That's definitely helpful. The fact that I'm in the Midwest. In the Midwest, guns are like, you can trip and find a gun in the Midwest, right?
Yeah.
State I'm in right now, they're like a shall issue state, So I got my concealed carry license. When I go
What
to
is that? You back up. What is that called? What is that? Explain that.
A shall issue state, it means like they have to give good reason to not give you a gun.
Oh, okay.
They have to be like, oh well, here's why.
Right.
Like, when I go get a gun now, they'll say, all right, if my paperwork is slow, they'll say, well, you got 4 days, and they got to give it to you in 4 days. So, if they don't give you a good reason in 4 days, we'll give you your gun.
How much research did you do before you started collecting?
Big research. So for me, my first gun was a shotgun, was a 12 gauge shotgun. I just wanted something for home defense. I wanted something that would be intimidating and would get people to want to leave me alone and not come to my house. And I wanted something that was practical and something that I didn't have a lot of training. And so I wanted to be comfortable with, okay, here's a shotgun, leave me alone. And that was the first thing I got. I really started doing a lot of research. My second gun was a Glock 17. And I got the Glock because I actually was looking for something that was reliable, something I could get a lot of ammunition for. And Glocks are extremely reliable. If you haven't checked them out, there's like a YouTube page called like Glock Torture Test, where they do ridiculous things to Glocks and see if they'll still work. And most of the time they do. I think the only time it failed was like this dude stuffed chunky peanut butter in it and tried to fire it. But they're notoriously reliable. And that's what I wanted. I wasn't getting something to be like fancy or be like, pretty or like, I didn't want like a silver chrome plated something. I wanted something that if we're in trouble, we can be safe. And I know we'll be safe. And that's why I got the Glock.
So one of our viewers says, how much of your arsenal stays loaded at any given time?
Oh, everything stays. Now, I don't keep anything in the chamber in the house because I have kids.
Right.
Like a lot of times if you look and see where people get in trouble where like somebody has like an accident at home, it's because they keep one locked and loaded. I don't keep anything in the chamber at home. Now, I keep everything accessible. I keep everything, I keep all my magazines. I got multiple magazines. I got my magazines locked in. But for like my Glock, I keep it high and I don't keep one in the chamber just as another safety precaution.
Right.
And rarely when I'm out and about do I keep one loaded unless I feel like I'm going somewhere where I don't feel safe. But it only takes for a Glock, it takes like half a second to chamber it. So, I feel like if I'm in the house, I'm in a situation where it takes more than half a second for me to chamber it, I'm in bigger trouble than the Glock's going to be able to handle anyway.
Now, you mentioned your family, right? And a lot of people watching, a lot of us grew up the same way. We were traumatized by gun violence.
Right. I'm from the DC area. I'm from PG.
Right. So, which kind of gives us we feel a certain way about guns, right? You mentioned you got a family. You sound like you're versed and knowledgeable. How comfortable are you with having those in the house and having your kids know about it? Is it a thing where we sit down and we educate the kids? We train with them? What do you do?
My kids know now. Like my kids right now are 8, 7, and 5, and they know you don't touch daddy's guns for no reason, right? We have conversations about them. These are not toys. These are for that. In fact, my youngest is like, "Why do you have?" She's 5. She says, "Why do you have guns? The police will get you." And I was like, "Funny story about that."
Yeah.
So I was like, number one, daddy has this card that says it's okay for him to have these guns, and number two, I'm an American, so it's okay for me to have these guns. And number three, if bad guys come, for them, it's like I tell them, if bad guys come, you want daddy to make sure I can protect them.
Right.
But but just as like a side note, the canary in the coal mine for all of us should have been, I think it was like 2015, 2016, where the president of the Georgia chapter of the SCLC said black people need to get armed. That's MLK's SCLC. You know what I mean? That's his home. And the president of the Georgia chapter said, yo, black people probably need to think of getting armed. And that was like my second wake-up call for me. That was when I was like, this is not the Nation of Islam. This is not the new Black Panther Party. This is the SCLC, right? And that president is saying, hey, maybe we need to start protecting ourselves. And so that was like my second wake up call.
Now there's a couple of organizations. I'm only familiar. I think most people are familiar with one. I love the name, the National Association of African American Gun NAGA. Yeah, NAGA. I love the name. I think that was very deliberate.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you a member of any organizations, and how do you feel about us getting armed and joining like NRA?
Definitely should. I think I don't know if we should join the NRA. Like the NRA
I always
like
I always
NRA
do
to
it
me
just
is like,
because.
I don't know if you ever remember like back in the day where you had like the Irish Republican Army, and then they had like their armed branch. To me, the NRA is like the armed branch of the GOP. Like that's their standing army. I don't advise black folks to deal with them at all. Whenever we've had a problem with an issue where they should have spoke up, whether it was like Fidel Castillo or any of these other brothers who legally had guns who got shot, they never spoke up. And so I would never trust them. But there's other organizations like NAGA. There's other black gun clubs that are joining. I think you should definitely join. You shouldn't have a tool and not know how to use it. Yes. And guns are serious business. Like they're not for show. They're not for play. You can end someone's life. You can hurt yourself. You can hurt others. There's a video going around in one of my Facebook groups of this brother who goes to a range and shoots the entire ceiling. Right?
Yeah.
Like, no training, right?
Yeah.
You need to be trained. You need to go somewhere, get someone to show you how to do it. And the best way to do it is, for me, is people who look like you, who sound like you, who have your best interests at heart. Right now, I'm not in a situation where I'm close to a large group of black or brown folks who are organized like that. So what we're doing locally is trying to find 4, 5, 6, or 7 people who can get together and just kind of go out to a range and train together.
Now, the reason why, kind of what I was talking about with NRA is like, because they're that way, I'm like, why not infiltrate and shake it up?
I agree. So I always believe the best way to change something is from the inside. I mean, you have the Democratic Party as a perfect representation of that. They went from being basically the party of slavery to basically the party that fights modern day slavery, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we have infiltrated the Democratic Party, you know? But the NRA to me is at a certain point, a group becomes too far gone. We can't infiltrate the Klan, right?
Right.
You just can't, you know? And the NRA isn't the Klan, but they kissing cousins, man. They real close, you know? And so for that, you know, it's like, would I infiltrate, you know what I'm saying, Fiji? Would I infiltrate, you know, Lambda? No, I'm going to go join my people, right? I'm going to go join a black organization. And so at certain points, you have to join black orgs. And so that's my thoughts on the NRA. They've never stood up for us. They've never shown that they want to. The only black people they like is black people that don't like black people, which makes you still racist.
Right. Yeah. All right. Derek says, my wife and I own handguns. Why does a person need an entire arsenal of weapons? Are we preparing for some sort of revolutionary war? My short answer to that is, why not? You could be.
So I had a family member ask me that the other day, because I have like 5 or 6, and I got like 2 more that I'm looking at. And they were like, well, you only have 2 hands. I was like, true, but like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to try to hit it with a saw, right? You know what I'm saying? You have different tools for different jobs. You know, I for my safety and for my family's safety, especially when I'm out on some of these country roads, I carry with me, and I'm not going to carry my shotgun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to have a shotgun in the car and like, you know, that's just, it's ridiculous, right? So for that, I have my Glock. For home defense, I have a semi-automatic shotgun, and I also have a Cal-Tech. I have the Cal-Tech Sub 2000 because I wanted something that my wife could also handle, right? For those who don't have shotgun, the first thing I learned after I shot a shotgun is they're not like the movies.
No.
Can't shoot it one-handed.
No, sir.
Can't shoot it like, if you're like under like 5'2" and like 75 pounds, you're not shooting like 50 shots. Like you need to brace yourself. You need to have some beef on you to be able to handle a shotgun.
Right.
If I didn't want something that my wife couldn't handle, so I got something like the Cal-Tech Sub 2000. I felt it has a brace. It's small. It's handled. She can, you know, I want something she can handle. So I was very specific about what I wanted.
Now, was she a person that was comfortable going in, or you had to really like convince her?
No, she wasn't comfortable going in, and I didn't have to convince her. I think the racists helped convince her.
Oh yeah, your neighbors.
It was one of those things where it was like, you know, And I'm blessed to be like in a good like neighborhood, but like generally speaking, what's going on, she was like, yeah, and then also the pandemic, like we've talked about a lot of things in terms of like prepping, like we've started mildly prepping, like we're not like doomsday, we can't last like 10 years, but if tomorrow, like the other day, like they were working on the water main and we didn't have any water for like a couple hours, and we got a couple gallons in the basement. It's good to have that, but it was one of those things where we were like, do we want to put ourselves at the mercy of people who may or may not care about us? No. Do we want to be able to protect ourselves? Do you want to be able to have protection if I'm not home? Yes. And then, throughout this pandemic, I've said, hey, she's like my conscience. She's my Jiminy Cricket on this. I'm like, hey, babe, I'm thinking about getting another gun. What do you think? Am I being a little ridiculous? She goes, well, you might be, but we're also in a pandemic. And
right.
We've never been in a pandemic before, so maybe she'll go get another 200 rounds of ammo.
Right.
And
another 200 rounds. Yeah. Talk that talk, man. 200.
You're just trying to be safe, man.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to be like some Rambo type dude to want to go out and protect your family, right?
Absolutely.
Have to be, looking at the world today and how Trump is not only weaponizing the like our armed forces, but weaponizing like regular like
law enforcement. Yeah.
Not just law enforcement, like militias, like like these. I've seen plenty of posts where people have been saying like, "Yo, Trump, we're here for you." I've been at protests down here where like folks have shown up with guns, right? Peaceful protests where folks on the other side showed up with guns, like trying to intimidate. You want to be able to protect yourself.
Yeah,
and I think every black person, honestly, I think we're at the point now where every black person in America should strongly consider getting themselves armed and trained.
All right, say that again so I can use that for a sound bite for a promo. Say it one more time.
I think we're at a point in America where every black person needs to be armed and trained right now. I think it's the responsible thing to do.
It's the responsible thing to do. And the reason why I brought you on, man, was to kind of get people, we have to start getting comfortable
definitely.
Seeing brothers and sisters armed.
Yeah.
And we have
I'm not like
You're not.
I'm college educated, got a good job, wife and kids. I want the American dream. I'm not like digging holes and hiding gold, but I'm seeing what's happening to people that look like me.
Yeah.
And seeing, you posted something like a couple months ago. Because I watch your posts all the time. You posted something like tongue in cheek, as you often do. You're like, man, if you still think we have an election in November, you're childish. And like it was one of those things where I was like, ha ha ha, oh, cry. You know what I mean? Like that's funny, but it's not though. But and we're seeing like a lot of seeds being planted right now, and you don't have to be like a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist to be like, oh, something's off right now. Like, we're in weird territory. And when you're in weird territory, you need to make sure that at the very least that you're protected and your family is protected. And that's the reason why I have handguns and a few other weapons to make sure that we're safe.
Now, how often do you get to train?
So I used to get out quite often. Between March now, none, because pandemic, right? But starting next week, the gun range out here opened back up, and we found a way where we think we'll be properly protected. We have a couple masks, and so that's what we're gonna do. We're going out actually next week to go out to the range. My wife has a handgun that she wants to shoot, and I have a couple of things I need to shoot. Because often with guns, you also have to break them in. A lot of people don't know that you have to break them in so they work properly.
From the Peanut Gallery, can you suggest a place where folks can buy guns from black dealers, maybe online? Is that a thing?
I wish. I'm looking for that myself. Like where I'm at right now, the guy I buy guns from, I know that he's a Trump supporter. Like I no doubt in my mind.
Wow.
I'm in a small town red state. This is where I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Like
so what do you do? Do you put on that face? Do you be hell yeah, shit yeah? Do you
I'm me. I'm just who I am, And I'm sure in his mind I'm one of the good ones. Who knows?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I buy so he's happy. He actually treats me better than some of the folks who come in there just to skim because they skim and I buy. But I would love, just like we have the Naga, I would love to find like a black gun store that I could support. But right now where I'm at, that's not possible.
Yeah.
But if I could find one, I definitely would.
Now, When you were off, I had to, I was talking to myself, and I was like, I want to show the picture, but I had to get your permission to show your collection. Are you open to that?
No.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Everybody don't need to see that, but
That's fine.
I have, I have a, like I said, I have a Glock, and I do have a semi-auto shotgun. I have a Kel-Tec, a few other things, and some other things. I want to get a 22
Okay.
rifle for hunting small game. I want to get a hunting rifle for large game because, like I said, small town red state when in Rome. But I also have a few other things I want to get for self protection purposes.
Have you hunted? Like, is
Not
that
yet,
because I know those are two different types of shooting. That's what I've read.
But no, that's probably this winter I plan on it.
Oh, you gonna be out there for real in the box, in the bird box.
Hey, listen. Hopefully, we'll see.
For 7 hours.
But like I said, to me, it's another part of the toolkit. Just being comfortable with different types of tools. Just like, the first time you were in tech ed, and I don't even know if they do tech ed anymore. Like, it's like, oh shoot, all this moving stuff, hands, saws. Ooh. But by the 20th time you go into tech ed, it's just like, I bet my goggles, and that's how I want to get around guns. That's how I want my wife to be. That's how I want my kids to be. I want everyone to be comfortable with them as tools. And right now, comfortable for my kids means don't get near them, don't touch them. To leave daddy's stuff alone. But for me and my wife, we want to get proficient with the ones that we have.
Right. All right. Well, there it is, folks. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on, and we'll have you on again, talk about some other stuff. Because it's still professor? Is it doctor?
No. I'm working on it. I'm about a year and a half from that. You know what I'm saying? I'm knocking on the door.
All right. Joe Harris, ladies and gentlemen, from the Midwest, American citizen and patriot, gun owner, and junior prepper.
I'm putting that on my business card.
Citizen and patriot. Your prep game is official though. Yeah, I got at least 9 months of cereal from the pictures I see.
We working on it. We working on it, brother. We working on it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a thing where this apocalypse is happening, and I pack the peoples up, pack the crib up, and we walking and we showing up for that cereal.
Come holler at me, man. I got a room in the basement for guests.
Yeah.
And I got an extra gun for you, so we'll be all right.
All right. Peace, man. I'll holler at you.
All right, brother. Peace.
It's my man right there. One more time. Junior prepper, American citizen and patriot. No, but for real, man, we gotta. I feel like, and I'm not trying to sell you or convince you. I just feel like we have to think differently, especially in these times, about home defense. However you want to frame it. If you got to get you a big knife and that does it for you, if you got to get you a candy paint baseball bat and that does it for you, or you good with some tools, some Home Depot tools, and you got a little setup by the door, whatever does it for you, home defense, personal protection, it's of the utmost. And not to make light, but just think about those scenarios or those situations that we've seen online where one of our brothers or sisters lost their life, and you're like, man, if only they were armed in that moment. I mean, I think about Ahmaud Arbery. If he was trained and armed and able to defend himself in that moment, would things have gone different? So that's what I want you to look at. Sound good? We learning. We here for it, man. That's what we here for do. We sharing knowledge. We learning. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna put some information out there. As I find it, y'all can go to Tiny Closet Studios, the Facebook group. Make sure you invite, request to join Tiny Closet Studios, because I got the group on private, because you never know. People be tripping. What is this? What is I don't know. What is what is it? Tiny Closet Studios on Facebook. Put some information in there about Black-owned gun stores and NAGA. NAAGA. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, like Breonna Taylor. They they actually shot back. So, yes. They were shooting against a highly opposing force, though. They were outnumbered is the word. They were outnumbered, but they were able to at least shoot back. So, we think about stuff like that. And to this day, her killers have still not been arrested or brought to justice. So, we're waiting on that. And no, I was looking for the Price is Right horn. I had that one too. Scoon doom doo doom. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Yeah, gun. Oh, yeah. Let me put that out there too. They're not for everybody. I'm just saying, as a collective consciousness, we got to get comfortable and knowledgeable on ways we can defend and protect ourselves, including home defense and your Second Amendment rights. They're not for everybody. Let me say that disclaimer. It's late, but still. Yeah. All right. So yeah, let's talk about this doctor, man. We oh, here we go. My man. I ain't even see the call. My man, let's go live. We'll talk about this doctor. I was talking about John Lewis lying in state. And speaking of lying, wait a minute. This is how you write jokes, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, and so I wanted to pay respects to John Lewis lying in state. And speaking of lying, did you see the Bill Barr testimony? How's that works? Let me get
of.
Oh no, he didn't pick up. Call back. Gotta get my second guest on the show. Anyway, so the doctor, right? Let me go. Let's play this video. This Nigerian doctor, Stella Emanuel. She was trending today. I showed it. I woke up to this video. So that means so 2 days ago we talked about. No, that was yesterday. We talked about, y'all was right here with me. We talked about the stage video with the mom versus the wife and the passenger, who rides in the passenger side. And I said that was the original versus battle. And then this morning, all the morning shows was talking about it. So I was like, oh, they watched Let's Go Live. Oh, that must be hip. So today I woke up and this Nigerian doctor, U.S.-based Nigerian doctor, Stella Emanuel, they had a press conference. Now, this video apparently was released on Breitbart's website. The press conference had no other major news outlets. It looked janky, but she was basically professing that she's treated over 300 people and there's a cure. There's no need for masks, and hydroxychloroquine, zithromycin, and zinc as a combo is the cure for COVID-19. Let's watch it. Let's watch it, and then we're going to review and we're going to break it down. It was interesting. I have so many questions. Facebook took it down earlier, but let's review. And it was a 5-minute clip. This is only 2 minutes of it. Let's see. All right.
50 patients, not lost one. Not a diabetic, not somebody with high blood pressure, not somebody with asthma, not an old person. We've not lost one patient. And on top of that, I've put myself, my staff, and many doctors that I know on hydroxychloroquine for prevention, because by the very mechanism of action, it works early and as a prophylaxis. We see patients, 10 to 15 COVID patients every day. We give them breathing treatments. We only wear surgical masks. None of us has gotten sick. It works. So right now, I came here to Washington, D.C. to say, America, nobody needs to die. I'm upset. Why I'm upset is that I see people that cannot breathe. I see parents walk in. I see diabetics sit in my office knowing that this is a death sentence and they can't breathe. And I hug them and I tell them it's going to be okay. You're going to leave. And we treat them and they leave. None has died. So if some fake science, some person sponsored by all these fake pharma companies comes and say, oh, we've done studies and they found out that it doesn't work, I can tell you categorically it's fake science. I want to know who is sponsoring that study. I want to know who is behind it. Because there is no way I can treat 350 patients and counting and nobody is dead and they all did better. Nobody needs to get sick. This virus has a cure. It is called hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and zithromax. I know people want to talk about masks. Hello? You don't need masks. There is a cure. I know they don't want to open schools. No, you don't need people to be locked down. There is prevention and there is a cure. If they come after me, they threaten me. They've threatened to, I've gotten all kinds of threats. Oh, they're going to report me to the boards. I say, you know what, I don't care. I'm not going to let Americans die. And if this is the Mount, if it's a hill where I get nailed on, I will get nailed on it. I don't care. You can report me to the box, you can kill me, you can do whatever, but I'm not going to let Americans die. And today I'm here to say that America, there is a cure for COVID. All this foolishness does not need to happen. There is a cure for COVID. There is a cure for COVID. It's called hydroxychloroquine. It's called zinc. It's called Zithromax.
All right. I said zithromycin. It's Zithromax is what she was saying. So let's go back. I need to freeze a frame. All right, let's unpack this. There's a lot going on. There is a lot going on. Let's see. Watch it again. And pause it. All right, let's look at this. All right, there's a couple things. There's a couple things. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, no. You bullshitting. Like, I was in at first. And then I watched it the second time. And I was like, why is she so extra? And I was like, as a doctor, she's talking a lot with her hands. And then I started to break it down, as a cynic. And her opening statement, which is not included in this video, was like, she's from Nigeria, based in Houston. And I came to Washington, D.C. to tell America, to tell the American people. And I was like, man, we got the internet, sis. You can't tell America from Houston, from Texas. I mean, like, what do you mean you came to D.C. to tell the American people? Ain't nobody there. The American people ain't there. We at home. We inside. What you mean? And then I started looking at people in the back, and I was like, wait a minute. The body language, it's not good, man. Like the whole rocking and pacing, it's like, I don't want to be here. I hate it here, as I've never stood for this long out in the sun. I don't even know. They just handed me this white jacket and said, stand over there. That's what look like. No named figure behind her. All these important looking people, none of them are official. We couldn't. And I dare say, I've seen you use the P word, propaganda, but I dare say, and I got to use this. I got to be careful with this word, man. But they look like they were acting. And there's a word for that. It's crisis actors. They look like crisis actors. Now we got to do our research. We got to do our conspiracy theory research as a family, as a unit. We got to go to the internet and see if there was a gig looking for actors to play doctors in the DC area within the last week. Somebody has to do it. We got Twitter CSI. Got to get to the bottom of this. So then they started, the internet went crazy, did their own research and started pulling up old articles and her storyline and how she believes that, I read somewhere vaccines were created to get rid of religion and they injected people with demon semen and part of the treatment is demon sperm. Stand by. Let's go live. Let's go live. Who's this? You on?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
yes, sir.
The Big Zo. Hold on. Round of applause for the Big Zo.
Yes, sir.
The Big Zo talks, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah. So I wasn't going for it after about the third video. And the third time I watched the video. So Big Zo, he's online with us, one half of the Street Senators podcast. So what we're talking about right now with the people, man, is the doctor and the press conference, the Nigerian doctor who has the cure, and the cure happens to be the same medicine that Trump has invested in.
Mm-hmm. And spoke about early on. And so I was just breaking down the video from a cynic standpoint on how much I didn't believe and how much it didn't look like a real press conference. They could have done that anywhere. But the steps of whatever building that is in the background, you're overdoing it, fam. But her accent was real strong until she got the hydroxychloroquine, which she said in perfect English, and Zithromax in perfect English, and zinc. She was like, the people, they leave, they don't die. They leave because we give them hydroxychloroquine. I'm like, wait a minute. How did you switch up like that? That's amazing. Else just say that?
Yeah, right. Overdub. And they say she's a pediatrician. She's not a virologist. It's just so much wrong with it. And I think, as funny as it is, how dangerous was this move? How dangerous was this? You sitting up there after the country is going in the midst of its second lockdown and saying the mask, you don't need masks because there's a cure. Now, it may be there may be a cure, but I don't think it's what you're talking about.
And why don't you think that?
She's just not believable.
Okay.
And I want to believe the sister, and I want to believe that because I think they picked an African doctor because, you know, most doctors that we deal with are African. And I feel like, I don't know. She was very passionate. You know what she lost me?
Tell me.
Fake science.
Fake science, okay.
I'm not going to let you that went to all these hours of school and had all these degrees and your rap is fake science. Get out of here. Get out. Who's saying that? Nobody's even saying that. Like, you sound like Trump.
Well, you know what?
Fake science.
This is how I can see. I can understand your point, because if she's using terminology that he and his team uses, was she sat down and did they rehearse with her what she should say? Is she coming from that side of the aisle, hired by and everything? Is that the case? Possibly, but what they don't show is all the other doctors who came and gave their spiel, and we don't understand. The media is throwing us for a curve. We are in there. They are ways for these people not to die, and we didn't hear that. And I don't understand why there wasn't more coverage
of this.
Yes, across the board. Why wasn't it?
All right, so you buy it?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just really just trying to digest it.
I am too, because in the beginning, I ain't gonna lie. I tell everybody, I'm looking you right in your face right now. And the first time I watched it, I was like, oh shit. I was in at first.
Mm-hmm.
I was in for like 30 seconds, and I was like, wait a minute, that's too easy. I was like, that's too easy. Just like that, it's over. Nah. I was like, I'm not catching the bus with her. I'm not getting in a car with her. Because if it was that, and you got 300 patients that you treated and not one of them got sick or died.
350?
350 plus. I'm like, you got to show us some paperwork or something.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see something. Give FaceTime. Call one of your patients.
Okay, so let me go here with you, Dr. Sebi. Like when he told what he told, it was kind of like unbelievable. When he was in front of, what was that? Was that the Supreme Court or was that New York State?
United Nations. He sued and won.
United Nations. That's right.
He said he had the cure for AIDS.
Yeah.
And sued them and won though.
Yeah. Yes.
Now there was no coverage on that.
There was no coverage on it. Everybody thought it was unbelievable.
Right.
It was, and we know of people like Left Eye who went down there and sang his praise and then got killed before she made it back. She was singing his praise from down there.
Yeah. Quite a few people were.
And quite a few people were. Who knows? He might have even treated Michael Jackson. He might have been around him some way, shape, or form. Who knows? I mean, he's been around quite a few people, but we didn't know his story until recent.
Right.
Not all of us, but some of us just found out about Dr. Sebi. Me and you, we've been talking about him for a little while now. The mass is kind of new.
Right.
Dr. Sebi is kind of new. Now, the only reason I brought him up, because he was making statements. Now, granted, she named the same medicine or the same drug that Trump named.
Right, which immediately, for opponents of Trump, which immediately destroys her credibility.
All the way. 100%.
Immediately.
100%. But what if she's right?
You bought it.
What? No. I'm just saying,
you bought it.
I'm just saying. What if she's right?
I think if she is right, someone would have corroborated. Two. Is there two among you? Is it who among you? Is there one other person?
You mean other doctors?
Anybody that's on the phone?
There were other doctors.
No. I'm talking about like not there in that little bunch of people that don't look like doctors. I'm talking about somebody calling in to Don Lemon right now, you know, in their living room, getting ready to go live. Be like, yeah, I was just real. It's true. Or a patient, like, yeah, I took the combo pack. I took the little Z pack. I took the zinc with my tea every night before bed, and the hydrochloroquine. I shot that under my eyelid. You know what I'm saying? Somebody to say something.
Right.
One other person.
But now we also know if that message is not meant to get out, mainstream is not going to carry that message. They're not going to run it.
That's true.
They're not going to run it. And we know that most of these companies are owned by a few people, a few families, a few entities. So when they say, "Oh no, we're not touching that,"
nah, but I think from that hydroxychloroquine, what we learned few months back, there are a lot of people who would stand to get rich. So if it did work, they green lighting this message ASAP, off the rip.
Or if the other side, meaning whatever other group, say no, we getting our bag over here, and the bag is in the vaccine, and that's the big bag.
So they're trying to wait. They don't need a cure. They need that vaccine to get launched.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and then the vaccine is going to come with more than just a bag. It's going to be more than just money. You know, at least it's being predicted to be that it's going to be more than a cure.
So she's not a pediatrician. She's talked about alien DNA in treatments. She's talked about demon sperm, aka demon semen. The title of my next mixtape. And you're saying to me that there's a sliver of could possibly be some type of truth to some parts of what she said. Is that where you're standing on?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Only because the possibility is there.
Okay.
And there's not enough information on the drug for the layman. We don't know. We a lot of us, that's the first time we ever heard it.
Yeah.
So do we know? We know zinc. We know vitamin C. We know vitamin D. Some people just found about vitamin D like early this year.
Yeah.
So it's that's foreign to us, but it's not foreign to some of them. But if they're told not to say nothing, and if you do, you're getting checked, they're not saying nothing. If that's a possibility.
But if you're towing the line, right, the company line, let's say she's an agent. She could be an agent, right? And she's in-house working, and they put her out front to be the what do they call it? The new politically correct speech these days. I got to learn these words, man. They put her out front to amplify. Right. I like amplify and intersectional.
Okay.
They put her out there to amplify this message, right? That they can't really say it no more because they got fact checked and disproved and 2-3 months ago about it and they made to look like fools. But then they get somebody who we think is a doctor to say it.
Who we think.
And then it's like, well, maybe there's something to that.
Right.
So that's still necessary. You think that would help them?
Who, like Bill Gates and them?
Like, no, not Gates, like the Trump administration.
Okay, the Trump side.
Because he's the only one that was really pushing it.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that's how we found out about it.
That's how we found out about it, yeah.
Yeah. So, but we all know he's a lame. All right, he's a lame. There's something, but we got to understand that this just didn't happen on accident for him to become president. Let's start there.
Right.
So if that's the case, we don't know what other tricks they got in their bag. If this one was able to get over on us, if they was able to fool us with that trick, who knows what else they coming with? And if they fool us with that, they can fool us again.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm just saying, like devil's advocate, there is a possibility, just as much as it's not, that they already know what take this out,
That
or
there's
at least suppress it.
yeah, there's some aspect of that combo that might do something.
Yes.
Okay.
If nothing else, improve your immune.
Okay.
And boost
we
your
know
immune.
that zinc does that anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And we
And
know
if we
that
didn't, we know now.
Yeah, and we know the Z pack is for antibiotics when you catch something, but not for viruses.
Right. Which is two totally different things. And usually they don't have a vaccine for virus. So how is this one going to be created?
True story.
When there is no
everything you read says viruses are incurable. Everything you read.
So how is this one coming out how are they going to be able to create this one in a year?
I agree with you on that.
Come on now, walk with me.
And what's happening to these people in these clinical trials? Because people die in clinical trials.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
I
was telling a friend of mine today, coworker. I was like, the reason why this is dangerous, because like you said, we've been tricked before, and we've seen this. Even though the sites took it down, once you see it once, it's staying in your brain. So you've already now you're thinking about it. And I was saying this week is going to be real tricky. I'm thinking Thursday. Something wild going to happen Thursday.
So why? Why you?
I don't know. I just got that. I just got that. This week we're in a gap week, right? Slow news week right now. It was big stuff last week. The bar thing was big today, only because they keep pushing that narrative of the protests being, they're late. He came to DC. He came in front of this hearing today to go on record classifying the peaceful protesters as rioters. So now you have it in writing, documented before the government, that anything that comes after this, we're not dealing with protesters, we're dealing with rioters.
Yes.
So once you've officially captured that language on the books, everything else, all bets is off.
Yeah. So, and we know how you're going to handle it.
And we know how you're going to handle it, because you didn't change the words already. So I'm like, Thursday, Friday, maybe over the weekend, because the news goes through the weekend, but like big news is like Saturday, Sunday. A lot of people miss that. Big news a lot of times happens Saturday, Sunday.
Because they know, normally we're not around. We move in a shape.
Right. It's a 24-hour news cycle. However, you're not glued in front of what used to be 6 o'clock news, 11 o'clock news. So Saturday and Sunday, shit will happen. And then Monday you'll find out about it. You know what I'm saying? Most people. But I'm thinking this week we're gonna see a turn, man, in something. I ain't trying to be all, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, I was just saying, how many more turns can we take, bro? Like we didn't turn so much, we back in the same place.
Right.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I really don't. I mean, I can see that happening. Because like you said, it's been quiet.
Yeah.
And it's just so much. I think 2020 has been so loaded. I mean, we didn't even talk about, we'll get to that one day. Just the asteroid. I mean, come on. We ain't
got time. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of our show. No. But no, next show, hey, if they want more of this, man, they gotta get Street Senators in the Patreon. Visit the Patreon, man, where all the podcasts is at. But at this, we run out of time. We have run out of time, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks for calling in. So I'm gonna keep it moving. All right, my man, the Big Zoe talks, man.
I don't care if it is a closet. You still looking mad official.
All right, folks, whatever it is, today's show. I appreciate y'all for hanging in there, man. We did a lot. We did a lot today, man. 2A, remember, it's your Second Amendment right as well. Not just everybody else's, but yours too. And prep, man. Do a little prepping, man. It don't take much. Just every time you go to the store, just like get an extra one. That's it. Just get an extra one. Don't try to, because when that lockdown come and we all running for water and Lysol and bleach and all that, it's gonna be a little bit too late. So just every time you go out, just get an extra one. Not a case. Just get an extra one. It'll add up. Trust. Yeah. And if you're interested in 2A, do the research, man. Go get some training. Go get you a little starter piece, figuratively, a starter piece.
Do some training, man. Get educate yourself, man. Be better. And we're gonna do some more research on Stella Emanuel, man. It's too much. I don't know what she's doing. Talking with her hands. I never seen a doctor talk with their hands so much. We don't believe you. All right. On the way out, man, let me give y'all this. Make sure you download when you can for a lot of funny, man. It's a lot of funny on this playlist on Spotify, and I need you to do that because the residual game is ridiculous. So look for this album on Spotify, Pandora, and on all streaming platforms. It's Crank Calls, 10 years old, classic stuff on there, man. Funnier than any of the Crank Calls that you hear today on the radio. So yeah, it's good stuff. So there's that. What else? I think that was it, man. We don't have a word from an elder today. We ran out of time on the production. Hey, it happens sometimes. We got so much going on. We ran out of time for Roland Martin, man. He was supposed to be on the show, but we have to get him the next time. So for everybody else, man, appreciate y'all, man. Tell somebody about the show. See something, share something, and we'll catch y'all next go round right here on Let's Go Live tomorrow, Lord willing, 6 p.m. Let's do it.
Man, I'm just working, man.
I know what my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P. A lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious. I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.